All right, hopefully everyone can see my screen. Let's begin. All right, so today we are going to talk about how to identify who is your ideal audience. This is very important. So in this lesson, we're going to go through what is an ideal customer avatar, or another name for it is your customer personas, and why you need it. Number two, we're going to go through the common ICA, ideal customer avatar questions, objections, and concerns, which I get that most of the time when I'll have a discussion with the client and say, it's important for us to know who we're serving. We go through the concern. Then my two methods to consider when you're creating your ICA. So I've got two methods that I always suggest, and that might help for you as well, which I'll share it with you. How to create your ideal customer avatar. We'll go through some resources and examples to inspire you to create your ICA story as to who they are, the stories they tell themselves. I'll give you examples, see. And we go through Q&A right at the end. So a little bit about me. I've built and sold 2 service businesses of my own. So I am currently got my 3rd business, which is exciting. And so I've been into the trenches and I know how challenging it is to own a small business. But trust me, I started my first business back in 2001, and we didn't have any of these fancy socials and that we have now, which gets rid of the middle person that we had to go through to have a connection with our end users. That's not there. To me, it's exciting. All right, so let's talk about what is an ideal customer avatar, or ICA, and why you need it. Again, if you understand it as a customer personas, they're exactly the same. I call them ideal customer avatars, some people call them personas. So one of the most important things your business, your small business need to do is to create concrete definition of your ideal, concrete definition of who your business wants to serve. Not everyone is going to buy your products or services. And to be honest, nor should you want them to, because some people just aren't a good fit for what you offer. And if you market and sell to them, they will know firsthand that it's not a right fit. And sometimes this goes into the path of leaving a negative reviews or some unsavory social media posts that might scare away the ones who you are actually there to serve. So it's very important to be very clear. So if you want to have, in today's social selling and in today's, including all the opportunities we have to connect with our end users, like I said before, we don't have a middle person. We have, as business owners, we have this opportunity to talk to our end users. So if we want to have a thriving and sustainable small business, we need to have a deep understanding of our ideal customers, or our customer personas, who they are. To get there, we have to create our personas. So what is ideal customer avatar? Or customer personas? A semi-fictional representation of your ideal buyer based on data, interviews, and some educated guesses, which we're going to go through. So essentially, it's a definition of your ideal customer presented in such a way that it sounds like you're talking about a specific person. So you aggregate information about a particular kind of person in your target market. So then we'll obviously find the avatar who represents that person. This person is your ideal audience. If you have been running a business for a while, you might actually have someone that you say, you know what, I would love to have more of this customer. So that becomes your avatar. That becomes the personas. And one thing I always suggest is give them names. So it's so important to give them names. I know that we talked about there could be the fictional representation of your business. One thing I always tell my clients, don't be afraid, give them names. It makes you relate, makes you relate to that person. So like if your customer is into the management, so this person, she or he, is a management senior role, then management Margaret or management Mike, or if there are marketing managers or in the marketing department, marketing Mary, or Neroli or shopper Sally. So mine is honorolic. So when we create, it's amazing how when I create something or I think about something, I always tell myself, is Ollie needs this. So it's so important. It feels like Ollie is the person I know. He or she is my best friend. So it definitely helps. It might sound silly, but trust me, it's not, because when you're talking, you actually feel like you're talking to a person. So ideal customer avatar, they've been around for a long time, and different people have different ideas of how they should be created and used. In many cases, the ideal customer avatars are developed to help business with their marketing efforts. So there might be collected of demographic information, like how old they are, their background, are they female or male, and some personal preferences with the purpose of helping a business. So remember I said it actually, most of the businesses in marketing, they use them to, with regards to the marketing. So what they do is they combine the demographic information for some personal preferences with the purpose of helping business to create content that will resonate emotionally with a particular category of people that you want to serve or a business wants to serve. However, I want to share something. Your ICA is more than just marketing tool, and this is from my experience, that they're more than just your marketing tool. So your ICA should have just as much value for when you're creating new products and services. When we know our audiences or our customers or our prospect in a deeper level, we can create new products and services that is specifically for them, rather than creating a product and service trying to find the customers. Sometimes when we have customers, we can create products and services that we can give them, we can provide to them. You can put together sales processes. You will understand what they go through. So when you're creating an advertising or you're creating a sales process, if in a business you have a sales person, and obviously you as a small business owner, if you're a solopreneur, you are the salesperson. Knowing your ideal customer actually helps you put sales processes together, because sometimes, especially these days, people already know what they want. They already stalked us online so many times. They checked out our website. They checked out our social channels. So by the time they come to us, trust me when I tell you, they might have done most of the sales. These platforms might have done most of the sales for you. So you don't want to waste their time. If they already decided they want to buy from you, but they just want to see you, you're going to ask that question. Don't waste your time and just close that sale and help that person. And your after sales customer service processes, this is again very important. It's not just about marketing. We can find out what do they want and how we can serve them and create a best customer experience while they are our customers. So as discussed, it's so important to know and truly understand our customer. So from my experience, when I started this conversation, and you might be watching this and go, hang on a second, Neda, what if I don't want to go too niche? I've heard this before. What if I'm serving everybody? So there are some objections that minds comes up with as a resistance when we're even talking about it, let alone we sit down and go, okay, let's niche down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some of the common ICA questions, objections, and concerns that I get. So I'm going to share it with you because this could be your concern as well when we're going to go very, very deep to get to know your customers. This comes up majority of time, but I don't want to leave anyone out. My products and services really can help everybody. Okay. There are 7, I think we're still 7, a bit more than 7. We're 7 billion people on this planet. More than you and I can ever serve or be able to serve in our lifetime. I want to tell you, being laser focused on who you will be, who your ideal customers are or niching down will not replace the diversity in your customer base or even limit the potential for your success. And if you're honest, though, you know this. No product or service is right for everyone. We are consumers ourselves. There's no way we can find a product. You cannot hardly say that your product is for everybody, because you were definitely not going to serve everybody. And that's the beauty of it. That's the good thing about it, because there's always someone who's going to relate to your business, who needs your services, and who committed to you and your business. And that's what we want. We want to make sure that we're happy and enjoy our customers. So when we talk about niching down, there is not going to be any business or marketing presentation without mentioning Apple. So they're not for everybody. They're not the market leader. They don't just sell it to everybody. They actually very niche oriented. And their slogan is "Think Different." And they have people who, like, I fell in love with Steve Jobs, and that's how I liked Apple. And I don't know, you can say I got stuck with it. You could be an Android fan and you say, why do you even like Apple? I don't know what it is. It just resonated with me. Their message resonated with me. And to be honest, not everyone resonates with them. So it's okay. If Apple makes all that money for only, I think there was less than 30% of the market, they're niching down, so you will not have a problem. And what they create is they create everything around who is their ideal audience. The next question I get, the next concern comes up is, but I don't just have one type of customer. I can't just say, okay, it's male or female, or it's supposed to be between this group, or it has to be married, or it has to be single, or the economic status will have to be this. I have a diverse customer base, Neda, and I like that. It's absolutely fine. My business is like that too. Let's not forget Apple. They're like that too. Some businesses have a diverse customer base, which later on I'm going to share two methods to determine how I use for my client, and you can absolutely use it too. But here's the thing, the reason I say you need to niche down, if they're not specific, work on 2 or 3 different niches, because whether you start to write anything or create a new product or service, you pick that one person amongst all your customer avatar and say, okay, I want to talk, for example, with Honor Ollie with regards to what I'm creating now, or the services I'm creating, I've got Honor Ollie in mind. If, for example, Marketing Mary was another one of my niche audiences, then what I create will be for them. So it is still okay, but we still need to separate them, because their needs are different. Their communication is different. They're not the same. So we just group them into the same niches. We'll give them names. Like, for example, for me, it was a Marketing Mary or Honor Ollie. So I have to separate them. They both needed a marketing help. They both needed assistance with business growth and scaling. But what I create is very different. So don't worry, there are businesses out there who are exactly like you, but we still go through and separate them into the groups and segment them. The next one, this feels like, so one of the things I always say is educated guesses. So we come up with stuff. What would they like? The thing that comes up is, but this feels like I'm just making things up. Shouldn't I talk to the real customers? Yes, you absolutely should talk to your real customers. It's so, so important. Sometimes, though, it's okay to have educated guesses, especially those times when you're just starting out, or you are established business, but you want to expand to a different market. You might start with one or two niches, and now you go, I do want to expand it and care or serve this niche as well. So you absolutely need to talk to real people, because you understand the language, what word they're using, their tone, what they're looking for, what they search when they search it on Google. However, it's okay, because sometimes with some educated guesses, it helps for us to determine the message, because sometimes some people, especially when they don't know there is a solution for what they need, they don't know how to communicate that. So educated guesses is absolutely fine. It doesn't feel fake. The next one is, what if what I'm selling, it doesn't solve a burning pain point kind of problem? Okay, so regardless of what you sell, if you sell a luxury or pleasure item, if you sell art, or hell, honestly, if you sell cupcakes, you're going to realize there is always a pain point, a frustration, a deep desire behind everything we buy. Everything we buy. We're human. It's that I always say, do you really think there will be a difference between a Lamborghini or a Bentley or something else? Well, I think it is. But they can't. So that you can have a luxury car in a different brand, which might do exactly the same thing. But it's that pleasure, it's that status thing. So if you're selling art, you might say, but that doesn't, this is something, art probably one of the things that people struggle with, and they go, well, how could anyone pay this much for the art? Because why would you pay that much for the art? Honestly, it's all about the status, is about how it makes us feel. So trust me when I tell you, even if you're selling a cupcake, you're getting rid of the frustration, you're getting rid of something. So don't worry about it. You are getting rid of the pain point. You either give it pleasure, or you might help them with the status thing. So it's okay. Everybody has that burning pain point that they want to get rid of. Okay, so now we've gone through the common ICA questions and concerns. Let's go through my 2 methods that I share when we're creating a customer avatar. I've created 2 methods that I share with my clients. So this will assist you to separate them and see, okay, so I might have 2 or 3 different avatars, and it's okay. So I have 2 or 3 different avatars, how to create content or how to actually segment them. So let's go through that. Okay, so while I always start, you suggest by marketing to one customer before we go to the method, sometimes talking to more than one is unavoidable. So if you're listening to this, if you're going through this program, listening to this training, and you go, but it's just unavoidable. I've got so many avatars, and I call it, there's some business owners out there who have multiple avatar syndrome. So what is multiple avatar syndrome? So what it is what happens when you simply have more than one ideal customer avatar that you must market to. And you must sit there and go, that's what I am. This is what I do. I've got so many. So let's go through my method and I can help you with that. So my first method, I call it Freeway Method. So what it is that you're using the call out to different clients. Let's say you have 3 different clients and you're using the call out to different clients. When you're creating content, let's say if you are into selling skincare products for different ages. So the content you put out, or even when you're creating your website, you put 3 different options or 3 different content for those avatars. When someone lands, for example, website has been one of the challenging one with people because it's just so vague. It doesn't have any call out. So the Freeway Method, just imagine this is, I think it's Kanana Freeway. So just imagine that you're in the freeway, you land on that freeway, and there is 3 exits. That could be, let's go back to, let's say if you are selling skincare products. So it could be, I don't know, could be for, if you have something for puberty maybe, so that will be something for them. So that it calls them out and they go to that page, and in that page you have all the information they need, all the products they need is there. Or for example, you go through, I don't know, more than 30, I don't know much about skincare products. So it could be different ages. So if you have multiple avatars, you can do a call out. So when you're creating content on your social, you're creating a call out. You're talking to that person. But you got to remember, You have to create content for every single one of those avatars. Your website has to have a pages specifically calling these people out. So this is a Freeway Method. So, so the next one, I call it Worldview Method. So if you've got a diverse audience, meaning different ages, genders, background, ethnicities, income level, etc., but they all interested in same topic, you may want to play with the Worldview Method. This is what I use for my audiences. So for my business, I used to have a Freeway Method because I had two people I was serving. I was serving a business owner, I was serving a marketing person. So that was my Freeway Method. So I was calling out on my website to two. However, what I've done is now, when I decided I only want to work with the small business owners and become a partner to their business as a marketing partner. So I use the Worldview Method at the moment for my business. Things might change, I might expand, but at the moment, this is what it works. So this is where you're speaking to multiple avatars who are connected through a common theme or common need or experience or sense of the world. So my client comes from different ages, different ethnicities, backgrounds, income levels. However, one thing that they have in common is they own small businesses who employs between 5 to 20 people. They already earn money. They already generating revenue. They're service-based businesses, and they want someone to take over their online marketing, their social media marketing and advertising, and they want a partner. They want this person to partner with them rather than look at them as to, oh, I'm dealing with the marketing agency. And that's what I want to do. So when I'm communicating, I'm not necessarily communicating, oh, they have to be male or female. So this is how I communicate, which could be something that you can absolutely use in your business. So it could be, you might have different avatars. You might say, oh, but it's not certainly has to be male or female. It doesn't certainly have to have a certain income. I look at, they're different ages, they're different income, they're different, everything is different, but they have one thing in common, and that is your worldview niche, and that's what you will use. So ask yourself, so while it seems like these customers are vastly different, so when it comes to the worldview, like the customers come across as vastly different, you may still be able to unite them under the Worldview Method. That's so important. So how you do that is you ask yourself these 3 questions. Do they have similar motivation? In my business, yes, absolutely. They are generating revenue. They're ready to scale the business, and they want someone to take care of it for them. Do they share a certain worldview or belief about your industry, products, or services? Yes, they believe marketing is important. They believe advertising is important. They do know that there are marketers out there who do things ethically. Do they use the same language or tone? Yes, they do. In my industry, they do absolutely use the same tone because they want to increase revenue. They want to employ people. They want to look after their clients. They want to look after their employees. So they think that the more they earn, they can look after the communities. They can look after their families, their employees' families. So they do have that. So if your audience is a worldview audience and you think, actually, Neda, the worldview works really well for me, ask yourself this question to get laser focus as to, are you going to go with the worldview? Okay, so now we talked about the method. Let's go through how to create your ideal customer avatar. So first, you must understand what the essential information you need. So how do you figure that out? So first thing first, you need to define what essential information that should be included when we're creating our ideal customer avatar, your customer personas. Then you need to identify the best resource for those information. So we know we're going to go through what we need, and then we're going to find out how we're going to get to those information. Okay, so so when it comes to when it comes to defining the information that your ideal customer avatar questionnaire should include, you need to uncover things like, this is what you've probably seen this, a lot of people probably talk to you about it, is who and what inspires them, what books do they like or read, where do they hang out online, what's their biggest pain point, frustration, challenges, desires, and it relates. You got to remember the frustration, challenges, desires, as it relates to your niche and what you do. So for the purpose of understanding, if you have a concrete understanding of the problem, so the best thing, what I recommend that you start, if you think, okay, so I don't know what questions, what sort of information we're talking about. What I recommend is that you start with a concrete understanding of the problem your service is meant to solve, your product meant to solve. That forms a foundation of your ideal customer avatar. So once you know the problem people want you to solve, you can start with brainstorming the broad categories of people who have the problem and get to know them in a deeper level. So when we understand absolutely what our offer is, what services we provide, and what solution is to my avatar's pain point, it's a good start, because then you can ask yourself, then we can get to the information. What I've got here for you is, this is a sample of what I use for my audience. So I'll go through exactly the same thing. So these are questions that I share with my audience, which I will be emailing everyone who registered to this workshop. So these are the actual questions I ask. I ask my audience exactly the same thing. They have to go through these questions. They're about 59, I think, questions, and we are updating them. I update them every now and then. So they're 59 questions. Some of the questions we get really, really deep. Some of them might not apply to you, which is absolutely fine. But I want you to go through and read them and look at them and understand how deep we need to get to know these people. We are in the era of social selling. Direct selling doesn't work. We cannot just come across as, we need to be humans, actually. Yeah, I always say that faceless business can no longer exist. We want to connect with you. So if you get to know your audiences and you get to know your customers, when you're creating content and all that valuable content you're creating, great service you provide for them, guess what? They just feel you know them. You get them. You're there to help them. So I'm going to send a copy of this to everyone who registered for this workshop. So you will have a look around. Any questions, let me know. So, oops. Okay, I lost my presentation. Where are we? Okay, so, okay, we're here. So this is included. I'm going to send it to you. You guys can, you all can have a look, play with it, and just go for it. Okay, so obviously you might have your own questions. You might have been in other trainings or talked to other people who have suggested some other questions to ask. You can absolutely add to this. You don't have to use this 100%. This is what worked for me and my clients, and this is what we use. But you can add your own questions as well. Don't think you have to. The good thing about marketing is you can always expand. And also, one thing you've got to remember, things changes. It evolves. Your customer avatars evolve. If you've never done this exercise before, it might become overwhelming, and you might go through the questions and you go, oh, I don't know. I've never done this. I don't know what it is. Do I have it right? Am I doing this right? Is this the right audience? It's okay. Our audience evolves with the business. We learn more about them as we serve them, as we create content for them. This is an evolving process. So don't think that you have to know it at the first go. So the next one, when we actually understand, we identify the questions we want to ask. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do our research. So source of ideal customer avatar. So you have 3 options here. Number 1 is we look at historical data. So we try to answer as many questions as possible using the data you already have. For example, this is obviously, so if you're watching this training and you go, historical data, I've only started my business, so it's been only 6 months, it's only been a year, and that's absolutely fine. So the first thing we look at usually, if you already had a business running and you had customers coming through, that is your historical data. For example, you can look at the marketing data for your most and least popular content pieces that you created. You can see if there was a pattern that it didn't resonate. So this is a historical data. So don't think that you had to be operating for 10 years and historical data, I mean, it has to be custom. You can look at your content. If you have been operating and you have been selling, look at your sales data for pattern in people who are most or least likely to buy. So you can look at data with, if you have an existing customers, you can absolutely look into them and see who remains loyal, who buys multiple times, who actually refer you to their friends and family, or easily become your evangelist. So this is where the historical data comes in. So your marketing data, your sales data, or your current customer data. Next one, customer interview. So once you fill as much information as possible from your historical data, then we go in and you say, okay, so now I've got more gaps. I've created as much information as I've filled out as much information as I could from the historical data that I had. The next step is, hang on, but we have some gaps. Talk to a customer. Talk to the real customer if you have real customer, and then fill out the rest of the questions that it's gap. If you don't have a customer, sometimes when we create, sometimes we could be our own customers, because in some cases we start our own business based on the challenges that we have. For me, one of the things that I've experienced is, as a small business owner, there are plenty of marketers out there. First of all, they're marketing agencies who are fantastic, they're great, they've got all that experience, but they don't offer that to the small business owners because they are so expensive, they just don't have it. Or we got other people who come out of the university. There's nothing wrong with university, but they're so raw, they don't have the experiences of it. And I struggled with it. I struggled because they were going by the books and not the reality of small business. So then I decided, this is how this business for me started. I wanted to help small business owners like myself who needed to scale. I needed someone to partner with, and I needed someone to actually understand, been into the trenches and understand small business. And I wanted to give the service of the big agency give to the big businesses to the small businesses. So sometimes we create our business based on our own experiences, and we could be our own customer interview. So you can absolutely do that as well. If you have a customer, definitely interview your customers. They're so important. So the next one, so one thing that is really good, before I forget, it takes good note during these interviews. Then look at the common thing that shows you from one customer, that show up from one customer to another experiences that they have. If that common theme, you'd be surprised with advertising or creating content. That common theme could be a content you want to create, that blog post you want to write, that service you want to create. So the next one is educated guesses. So this is if you are brand new and you still have some questions unanswered. The secret is that you've got to do a little digging, and I'm going to show you how. I've got 4 tips on how to learn about your customer avatar. So how to learn about your ideal customer avatar when you don't have an audience yet. So this is if you don't have an audience, or if you're going or you're expanding to a new niche that you never had, you're going to expand to that niche. So my friends, the best thing, be resourceful. You've got a world wide web at your fingertips. You have friends, you have families. Sometimes you got to be careful with friends and family. They might shut it down. So, but I'm sure we will have a group of people who we can rely on. Hopefully you have small business owners, other small business owners, like-minded people who you surround yourself, and you can ask them. If they're not available, Google articles. There is so much available. So be resourceful. So this is so important. Next one is Facebook groups and online forum. People hang out there. Ask some questions. Go in there and make sure you can, if you can join a group that your audience, either your existing audience or your new audience hang out, go there and ask questions. See what questions they are asking. You can actually go to the search section of the group. When you go to the search section of the group itself, maybe type in the keyword that you search, type in the keyword, the offer that you have, and see if anyone have asked the question in that group. And make sure you answer those questions. Don't come across as salesy. Use that to learn. This is very important when we are in the online forum and Facebook groups. So most Facebook groups have their own rules. What I always say, please be respectful of those rules. Please be respectful of the group owners and admins. It's very important for us to be respectful as well, because they're creating an environment so it's safe for their audiences, and we don't want to come across with someone who actually going to come in and become salesy. I don't appreciate it, and I would never ever do that to anyone who has a group. So the third one, look at the audience comment. This is something else that you need to look for. So the thing that you need to see is, go and see if you have someone in your industry who have a bigger audience, who have been established. What you can do is you can have a look at their posts and see what questions or comments their engaged audiences have when they're posting, or the question they're asking, or the blog post that they're posting as to what questions was it answered, what are they trying to answer. You got to remember, we're not trying to copy. Under no circumstances we're copying anyone. However, when you're starting out and you're trying to learn, this will teach us. We'll see what questions people are asking. We'll see what the interaction is, what they want. Obviously, they need to have a larger audience and engaged audience. So next one, attend networking event where your ideal customer avatar hang out. Obviously, with the COVID, you've got to make sure that you can attend networking events. I think since 2020, or was it 2020, there are a lot of online networking events that you might be able to attend. You can absolutely do that. If you can do it in person, that's great. If you're lucky enough that you can attend networking event in person, it's absolutely good. So when you go there, just talk to them, okay? Here's the secret. Listen more than you talk. So when I say talk to them, don't keep talking about you. Listen more than you talk. Listen to what they say. You're trying to find out more about who they are, okay? What excites them, what they are working on, where they are struggling at, what is their dreams, what are they might be stuck on. So don't be weird stalker or anything, but ask some casual questions that it help you learn more about them, because all we're doing is we want to learn more about the people that you are trying to serve. All right, so there's my friend. That was the best way to find information. Okay, so now I'm going to give you examples to inspire you, create your ICA story. So these are actual avatars of two of my clients. And I'm giving you exactly the example that we use. So I want you to meet Zach. So Zach is a life coach ideal customer avatar. So I've got a client. This person is a life coach. So this coach helps men. This is how particular we get. This coach helps men who lost their job build the confidence they need to go after their dreams and live the life they once envisioned for themselves and their family. So my client of mine, which is a life coach, we became more niche. So this is a new niche. He's been a life coach for a long time. Since COVID happened, we had so many struggles. We had so many things changed. So he wanted to help this particular group of men who lost their job and they're just struggling at the moment to put meaning towards it. So who is Zach? Zach is a busy father of one who lives just outside of Sydney. He recently left her high-stress position at the legal firm and is struggling with redefining his role in the world and regaining the confidence he once had. So this is what we say. This is my client say, so Zach is a busy father. He lost his job, Neda. He's struggling to redefine his role in the world and gain the confidence again. So what does he do? He wishes he could wake up every morning feeling fulfilled and energized to tackle his goals, but there's just one problem. He's not entirely sure what his goals are anymore. Because of that, he often feels lost during the day, feels like he's not 100% himself with his partner and their daughter. So what he really wants, so this is where my client comes in. What Zach really wants is to gain clarity and confidence so he can move forward, let go of the past and find more meaning instead of just binge watching Netflix, which is, to be honest, there's nothing wrong with binge watching Netflix every now and then. But ultimately what Zach wants is to live his life to the fullest and get unstuck for good. So do you see how creating a story brings Zach to life? We had to get in there. It takes time, it takes effort, but it's okay. This is how I want you to get to know your audience. So for me, Ollie that's how Ollie is. I know Ollie in a very, very personal level, which is so weird. But if Ollie turns up one day and say, hey, I'm a small business owner and I need your help, I'll be panicking. But so that's how I want you to get so close. So your ICA story, your ideal customer avatar story, is directly aligned with your business value proposition. So remember, my client, this is what my client does. It helps his client to gain clarity and confidence because they feel lost. They lost their job. They thought they had everything under control and it just fell apart. So he helps them to gain clarity and confidence. So this is how it is. Your goal directly aligns with your business value proposition. So how do you serve and who do you serve are always connected very closely. I'm going to give you one more example, and that's Lynn. So I want you to meet Lynn. This is not actually Lynn, but it's as close as we could get. So I've actually got another coach, but this person is a career coach. So what she does, my client does, is she specifically helps baby boomers. Again, this is another niche we tapped into. The reason being, when COVID happened, a lot of people, they tend to got the redundancy when they were in an older age, unfortunately. However, so what my client does is, this is how he helps. So let's talk about Lynn. So Lynn is a 57-year-old woman who hasn't had to look for a job in 20 years because obviously she's a baby boomer. So she was comfortable in her senior financial analyst position at her old company before last round of layoff finally got her. So she knows that before her saving runs out, so this is how close we get, before her saving runs out, she needs to look for a new long-term position. The idea of re-entering a job market keeps Lynn awake at night. She worries she no longer got the courage to deal with the rejections and that her resume and past experiences is not going to stand out. And to be honest, this is so real. It's just, this is absolutely real. When we're talking about this, we know the pain point. So what does she need? Remember, we're going to go to the value proposition of my client, how the career coach helps them. So what does Lynn actually need? Lynn really wants to feel confident that she'll find a perfect position. She's got more experience than 95% or more applicants, and she wishes she could just own that knowledge and she'll walk into the interview feeling confident and highly qualified. Lynn has 2 kids in uni. She wants to continue making a good salary so she can support them and save for retirement. She still has a lot to give, and she wants to be respected and seen as an asset, not a liability. All of this, to be honest with you, when it comes to the coaching, it's all about mindset, regardless of what coach you are. This is what I'm learning from my clients. So I want you to remember how we give story to Lynn. So there you have it, my friend. These are the stories that I'm giving you based on exact stories that my clients do. Obviously, this is not Zach and this is not Lynn, but these are the pictures. So next time when you sit down to write a blog, post the social, do email newsletter, or better yet, your lead magnet to sell your products to bring in your leads, ask yourself, what's Zach like this? What does Lynn need right now? What's Zach thinking right now? Like for me, the new beginning when the year starts, everyone wants a strategy. Everyone wants a social media marketing audited. Am I doing the right thing? Have I got the right plan? I'm going to increase my revenue by that much. Have I got, because you've got to go work backward and work out how to market and do all of that. So I know what Ollie wants. What does Ollie want now? So this is what I want you to think about. So you really want to bring this person to life when you're creating content for him or her. All right, everyone, that's it for the presentation. Thanks for your time. Let's just stop sharing and see if we have any questions. Okay. Oh, my shares. Yeah. All right then. No questions. Yes. BT, yeah. Do you have any questions? You've got your hand raised. No? Is that question? Will the presentation also be shared? Yeah, absolutely. I can absolutely share that with you. I think I do have, let me just quickly check it, see if I've got your email, and then I should have it, but I just want to make sure. I definitely share that with you as well. Like so. Yes. So you're at outlook.com. Yes, I've got it. So I'm definitely going to share that with you. So everyone watching this training, I will definitely share the customer avatar and I will share this slide with you as well. Is there any other questions? I'm glad, Richie. Yeah, it's good to see you anyway. Well, good to see you anyway. So if you have no questions, I think that's it for us. Enjoy the rest of your day and I'll see you next time.